So now that you have your reward and you've set up a landing page where people can go in order to give you their email address or buy the specific item that you're testing out with free plus shipping, you want to build awareness. So one thing that's very important is first and foremost that you highlight this giveaway in the highlight section, because this is one of the first things customers will do when they discover your Instagram page. The other thing is you also want to have paid ads around your giveaway. I'll talk more about the following in the other slide. And you also want to have reminders. So throughout 30 days, you want to remind individuals once a week at the very least about your giveaway. Also announce it at least once a day on your stories as well. Now, the post that I showed that Sunny Co Clothing did about a year ago, they only had one post where essentially they were telling individuals about their giveaway. However, the reason it went viral is because they already had partnerships with different influencers who reposted for them. So this helped them just have one post. And I mean, they ended up having such huge demand for a couple of reasons. First of all, that specific cut, bathing suit cut, was really in at that moment. They also, not a lot of brands have done free plus shipping with bathing suits. So this was really novel. And also because they disguised it as a giveaway, and most importantly because they really knew how to talk to their demographics. So all of these are very important elements to take into consideration when you're crafting the perfect offer. So second thing is you want to invest in paid advertising. Why do I love paid advertising? Because it's a quick way of seeing whether or not your offer has traction. And it's going to take you a couple offers, especially if you're just fresh out and you haven't really put much out there to see what's going to work and what's not going to work. This is why I love spying on competition, because this is your way of getting consumer insight, getting insight as to what's worked for other brands. And you can obviously change it accordingly based on what your services are, based on what your products are, etc. So paid advertising, this is what you should do. The first and foremost, I personally love story ads. Now, with story ads, the format is different in the sense that it's a rectangle, or more like a vertical rectangle, which is 1920 by 1090. You can find the specs on Google. Apologize for that. I don't know them right at the top of my head, but depending on what you use, I personally use Final Cut Pro, and I enter my personal specs. You can also use Adobe Premiere. And there's a couple of apps as well that allow, I think Adobe Spark, that's correct, allow you to create your own content, which would be either images with some sliding text or video as well. Now, definitely encourage you to do story ads, and the goal here would be to have people clicking to your landing page, whatever it is you're offering. So if you're doing the free plus shipping, then they need to go to a page where they're going to have this offer of getting this free bathing suit, for instance, right? Two types of ads that you want to do. I personally love doing post engagement ads. This is when you're doing Instagram posts. The reason is it helps as far as building credibility. So what do I mean by that? So let's see that you see a post where somebody's saying like, hey, we have a giveaway, and no one liked the post or no one commented. Chances are, if you were thinking about clicking on that post, you're not going to click. So the first thing you want to do is just spend $5 doing a post engagement ad. And what Facebook does is that within Instagram, it will target specifically individuals who are just likers and like to comment. This is the type of individual it's going to go for. So once you have that data, first and foremost, is if that ad is not performing well, then go back to the drawing board and create a new reward. Because if people aren't engaging, is that you could do better, whether it's the image that you're using, the video you're using, or the call to action. make sure that you test, and if it's not performing well, move on to the next one. Once you have that data and it's performing well, I usually move it to conversion. So conversion, you can do an add to cart or you can do a purchasing ad. This is where it's important for you to have your pixel on your landing page, like we talked about, your Facebook pixel, because Facebook is going to keep track of individuals who are adding to cart or purchasing. Instagram stories, we talked about this. Personally, you'll get great return on your investment on the following ads. And it's a great way to supplement. And something you could do as well is you could retarget. So individuals who've already gone on the page, let's say, for that item and haven't purchased or haven't downloaded, you can retarget them with Instagram story ads. And the way you would do that is that you will pick that specific demographic and essentially you will retarget them. And we'll talk about that in the next few slides. So the other thing you want to do is influencer seeding. Influencer seeding meaning that you want to give access to influencers to your offer. So you'll want to have your VA go through a list of influencers or provide you a list of influencers. It's important. I have a whole course on influencer marketing, and it's important to see that these influencers have traction, that they have actual people who are commenting on their post, and you don't necessarily need to be working with big influencers for this to be effective. Make sure that you have key partnerships with these bloggers and have them help you promote the reward. You can tell them that you're going to do paid ads. Usually they are pretty open to the following, especially if it's going to help them with their exposure, etc. So this can also help your campaign. Another little hack is before I run anything through influencers, like I mentioned earlier, is I do these post engagement ads to gain insight as to whether or not there's potential for that campaign. And once I know that a campaign could potentially perform really well, this is when I go into phase 2 and start reaching out to influencers. Now, you need to remember, and we're going to talk about different audiences. I'm going to pull up Facebook Ads Manager right now so you can have insights about what I mean by retargeting, etc. So we talked about this already, but winning a new customer is just like dating. So the first step, and what we are in right now, the phase that we're covering in this first 2 chapters is brand awareness and brand consideration. This is where people are seeing your brand for the first time, and you want to retarget them with ads, because especially now with Facebook, you can easily do the following. If somebody's interacted with your account on Instagram, you can retarget them first and foremost. And then you can also retarget them if they've been specifically on your page. And you can offer them a second offer, let's say. So let's say they haven't purchased, you can drive them to a free download or whatever it is, right? So you can really play around with this, because that life cycle, just to give you some insights, it takes about 8 to 10 interactions, sometimes more for some customers, for them to feel comfortable having the first purchase. And you really should not give up, because it's going to take several interactions for individuals to purchase from you. All right, so let's move into Facebook Ad Manager.